Hello. If I sound like I'm out of breath, it's because I am. I just filmed a really long video where I talk like all the time, and that video will come up after this one, so you will see what I mean. But I'm so out of breath. But I think today we are going to talk about our next weekly theme. I talked about Mexico in a few videos ago. And now I'm going to talk about the Psycho franchise, which we have in these. We have Psycho in Hitchcock House of Hitchcock box that I don't took with me. But yeah, it's in this one version on Blu-ray. Yeah. But then we have this box which we recently bought. And it's Psycho 2, 3, and 4. But we also have Psycho 2 in this version from Scream Factory. Looks cool. And then we also watched the remake. I had only watched the first one before we watched these, and my husband had watched the first three, I think. At least the first two, but I think he had watched the third one as well. Yeah, and this time I'm going to talk about them in the order I have ranked them, starting with the one I least liked the least, English. And as it may come as no surprise, I liked the remake the least. This one. It came out 1998, right? Sorry. Why can't it say? But I'm pretty sure it did. Well, it was a long time ago compared to the others, but yeah. I have heard that this one was going to be terrible and a shot-for-shot remake. And when you hear that, you are like, really? Is it really shot-for-shot? So I was kind of excited to be watching this because I thought it can't be that similar. Because a remake is a remake, of course, but yeah. So we watched this, and oh my god, it is exactly the same movie. The angles are the same, the lines are the same, everything is the same except the actors. So the only reason to watch this is if you want to see Psycho with, Viggo Mortensen or Anne Heche or whatever. But yeah, I don't understand the purpose of this, because if you haven't seen the original one and you watch this, I think you will find that the dialogue is really weird, because the script that that sounded good in the old one from 60, that does not sound natural in 98. At least it takes place in 98. Yeah, never mind. Because it's exactly the same script, and it just looks ridiculous. The only thing that kind of has changed, I can't talk, I've talked too much, I'm sorry. But they have put in some dreamy, surreal images in, when the killing starts. I don't understand why. It doesn't fit in. And they also have a Walkman. That's the difference. So I gave this a 2 out of 5 because the story is not bad. I just don't see the point, and I don't see any good reason to rewatch this, because like a lot of people have said before me, if I want to watch Psycho, I will watch the original. Yeah, and this is also in color, by the way. That's also a difference. But yeah, this one I like the least. Yeah. And then I actually, no, not actually. I think that is kind of predictable, but I will show this all the time. But number 4 is my number 4, and I think most of that film, because it's kind of a prequel. I don't want to spoil it, but it's kind of a prequel, and the parts that are prequel, I didn't have to see them. I like Olivia Hussey and uh, what's it called? Thomas, right? I like those actors, but it's like I already know and can imagine what Norman Bates' childhood would be like. I don't have to see it, and I don't have to see the sexual undertones between uh, son and mother. And I don't know. I think it's just weird and it doesn't add anything. But the parts with Norman Bates talking to the radio show host, that I think is kind of fun. And the ending, I think it's a fitting end to the franchise. But nevertheless, I gave it also a 2 out of 4. Um, and it's called Psycho 4 The Beginning, and it's from 1990. Then I ranked number 3 as number 3. But that is just called Psycho 3, right? Yeah. That one is kind of okay. It's a great sequel, but it feels like they are trying to mix Psycho 1 and 2 into one movie, but this time it's kind of obvious what is going on. And in the third act, there is a really weird scene that I don't understand at all. That was our dogs. Yeah, never mind. It's predictable and weird, and I like Anthony Perkins, of course, but yeah, it was okay. That is all I have to say. It was okay. So I gave it a 3 out of 5. And then be prepared, because my number 1 and number 2 is not what you think. And yeah, the second best Psycho movie is actually the first. I know. I know. I know a lot of people have talked about Psycho 2 being really good, but as far as I know, all people have said that is they think it's a good sequel, but it's not as good as the first one. But I think the first one is not as good as the sequel. It's really good. I have watched this like almost 30 years ago, I think, and like in the late 90s, and I was too young to watch it. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why it was black and white, and it was just weird. But now it was like watching it all over again. Like, not all over again, but it was like watching it for the first time. It was fun to watch the shower scene and all those classic shots, and experience them again. And Anthony Perkins is awesome. It's a really, really good movie, and I understand why it's so loved. Um, I don't get that annoyed by the ending with the psychologist. Psychologist? Is it called that? Never mind. I don't get that annoyed by it. I understand why it's there, that scene, but yeah, I think it's a good, solid movie. I gave it 4 out of 5, actually. But the best one, without a doubt, is Psycho 2. Of course, it wouldn't be that great if it hadn't had the first one to rely on, but that doesn't matter. This one is the one I would like to rewatch sometime. And it's really interesting because you think you know what is going to happen. Because these take place like 22 or 23 years after the first one. And Norman gets released from prison. And like I said, you think you know what's going to happen, and it doesn't happen the way you think. And when you think you have understood what the movie is about, it twists and turns again, but in a good way. And the shots in this movie are excellent, and it's just a really good story. I don't know what to say, but all the actors are amazing, and I didn't figure out what was going to happen, and I usually do. It's not easy. It's not so often I get fooled. I usually figure out where the movie is going, but not this one. And I'm very pleased with how it ended. So, such a recommend. I really, 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 really like this movie. It got 5 out of 5 easily. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. That's awesome. And as a franchise, it's really good. I'm glad we watched all, even the remake, because it was nice to, watch what everyone else is complaining about and understand that. But yeah, even though I didn't like the fourth one that much, it gave it a nice ending, I think. The whole franchise. Yeah. So this week we are watching the Hellboy movies. So there are only 4, so that won't be a long video either. But I think that since the next video that is coming out is going to be really, really long, it's nice that this video is shorter. So thank you for being here, and sorry about the next video that is going to be long, but that's just the way it is. And yeah, I would love to talk to you in the comments. So if you think different or agree with me, please let me know. But otherwise, thank you. Bye.